Today, I just want to share with you some information about finding color, and really more so about color theory. So, when we think of color, we are essentially thinking of the hue. So, when I say something like blue or red or green, those are all actually hues. And what we can do is we can add white to our hues to create a tint. So, for instance, take a look at that green. If you look at the green and you add white to it, these are the colors you would get. You would get a tint. A shade is a hue that is mixed with black. So if you take a look at that red, notice how the red gets darker by adding black to it. And a tone is a hue that is mixed with gray. The other thing that we need to take into consideration is color temperature. There are warm and cool colors. Warm colors are things like red, orange, and yellow, while cool colors are colors like purple, blue, and green. But here's the kicker. You can have cool colors of red or a cool yellow. You could also have warm blues or maybe a warmer green. So if you take a look at these lights, the one on the left is a warmer light. It has a warmer undertone, while the one on the right has a cooler undertone. It's a little bit more blue. This painting of onions, it's white onions on a white piece of fabric, but if you notice, it's not really white. It's actually a lot of tints and tones that have different underlying colors or have different color temperatures with them. Notice how some of the whites are more yellow, some are more blue, some are more green, and cool colors typically recede or move backwards, while warm colors typically come forwards. If you look at this is a drawing done with Conte crayon and ink on paper. The right-hand side of the package is slightly more warm. There seems to be more yellows that are mixed into the colors that are being used there, versus on the left-hand side, it's a little bit cooler and there tend to be more blues mixed into the white that is used there. The other thing that you need to consider is saturation. Saturation is also known as chroma. It's the level of intensity of the hue. So if you look at this picture, all the way to the left is the pure hue. It has the highest level of saturation, but you can desaturate these hues by adding things like white, gray, black, or other colors to it. So what happens is tints, tones, and shades will desaturate the hue. The other way that you can desaturate or saturate something is by, particularly if you're doing watercolors, you can add more water and get a less saturated hue, or you can add a little bit less water and get a more saturated hue. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is you are going to create 100 swatches. They're just quick thumbnail, little, basically literally the size of your thumbnail, blocks of color. And I would like them all to be the same hue, used but with difference and changes in value, in tint, in tone, in shade, and in temperature and saturation. So there's a lot of different variables you can play with. So if you look at the one on the right, you will notice they are all purple. The hue is purple, but some of them are tints of purple. The colors up to the right or the top are a warmer purple, while the colors closer to the bottom are a cooler purple. You could also do things like making purple shades, or even playing with the intensity of these. So if I was to take, for instance, the color all the way down on the bottom right, it looks like a cool purple. And I could play with the intensity of that cool purple by adding more or less water to it. So things to think about: create a swatch using tint, tone, shade, temperature, and intensity or saturation. Have a great time. Bye, guys.